Like, bruh, she wasn't difficult to love. She was difficult to breadcrumb and then tolerate it because you try to disguise it as love. There's a difference. It's one thing if, you know what, she's just so hard to please. It's another thing if she's ungrateful. Come on now. Somebody saying they couldn't hear me. And I need y'all to hear this. Just because that woman wanted you to check in and be accountable and be transparent about where you were going to be whenever you left the house, that don't mean she was controlling. You try to make her feel like she was doing too much, asking for too much because she wanted time that was made for her, not time that was spared for her. You try to make it seem like she was rushing things because, you know, at the 6 months of let's just go with the flow. Let's just see where things go. She started getting a little bit more firm about, hey, what exactly are we doing here? Nothing about that made her hard to please. You try to convince everybody else she was a problem and she was hard to please. No, she just wasn't quick to accept your discount version of love. That wasn't love at all, actually. Counterfeit, bootleg. Call it what it is. Y'all love trying to tell a woman that she's difficult, she can't be pleased, she's asking for too much. No, your effort is too low. Your effort is too low. You came in so used to women that you could play those games with, and you came across a woman who wasn't playing. The only thing she was playing was for keeps. And you try to make her succumb. You try to make her acclimate down to what it is you were comfortable for. Ain't nobody's fault but yours. You hadn't prepared for that race. You have not conditioned yourself. You got out there trying to run a marathon and tell her that she was too long. Like, no, man, she was what she was. She was always the long game. She was always the long-term investment. She was always the foundation build first, empire next. She was always that. You came in trying to help her shrink and then try to make it a matter of her character, her desires, her appreciation or lack thereof, that she wouldn't tolerate less. The whole thing you sold her on in the very beginning was that you loved the woman that was willing to challenge you. You loved the woman that was on her ish. What do you think it took for her to be on her ish? It took for her to constantly challenge herself. Everybody want a good woman until it requires them to be a good man. Everybody want the top tier, top notch, forgetting that that person that's so top notch is looking for their equivalent. Anybody who got their ish together, man or woman, honestly. But it's interesting because it's the men that I'm seeing call women unrealistic or call them having fairy tale expectations. But anybody who's done the work on themselves is going to be looking for their partner, not a project. Y'all let me know if I'm speaking facts down in the comments, please. Let me know if I'm speaking facts. If you picking up what I'm putting down. And again, this goes for men as well. This is the reason why there's so many alpha males that's out here thinking like, oh, you know, women don't want a good man anymore. And I'm not talking about you dudes that call yourself a good man because, you know, you never had any felonies or you don't got any face tattoos. I'm talking about real, genuine guys. Real, genuine men who have done the work. The reason why is because the higher up you go up the ladder, the less people who qualify to come into your life. That's what that is. So any woman in this situation and you've been told you're too much, you want too much, you expect too much. The whole thing is the higher up you go, the more you invest in yourself, the more accountable you are, the more that you are putting away bad habits and developing good ones, the more value and equity and time that you spend with yourself and put into yourself, the less men who are going to be qualified for you. And those unqualified men, especially those with fragile egos, are always going to tell you you're the problem, that you're too much because they offer too little. I'm not even trying to be cliche or anything like that. I'm just keeping it all the way of being. And yes, men have the same issue. Alpha males, it's just not as many alpha males as there are betas. But this is why, as a growth-oriented woman, you'll always be disappointed with a man who has not put in the work, who has not evolved to the highest version of himself. He'll always tell you that you're too much. You're too intense. You want to communicate about every little thing. You find a problem with every little thing. That's one of the biggest complaints you're going to get as a woman with standards. You always got a problem with something. You always want to be negative. Anybody ever heard that before? Oh yeah, I do have the masterclass and it is still free. Secrets to attracting alpha males only. If you have not gotten that yet, comment the word secrets and I'll send it to you. Matter of fact, I'm going to pin it right here in the comments because after I finish this, somebody going to ask, where's that link? Yes, and it's still free right now. Secrets to attracting alpha males only. For those of y'all who are on the dating scene, you tired of wasting your time, you tired of being in the dating pool part that got piss in it, that masterclass is for you. You do not have to continue to meddle around with dudes who are not ready for you, who do not come prepared, and then they try to put it on you. You don't have to. You do have to use the strategies to attract those men who have also done the work for you. Like the same work that you've done. When I say for you, I mean in preparation for you. They've done the work for you. They've done the work primarily for themselves, but they've done the work. You don't have to do the work for them. You may have to guide them on how to love you specifically, but you don't have to do the work. You don't have to convict them to care about their word and making sure there's equity in anything that they say and that you actually believe in the promises that they make. You don't have to do that. Not with an alpha male. But this goes back to what I've been telling y'all for a while now. As a woman, if you watching this, you already are interested in growth-oriented content and conversations. That by itself shrinks your dating pool. I need y'all to understand that. That by itself shrinks your dating pool. Because what you're going to come across are a lot of guys who, even though they know they're not qualified for you, they're going to approach you anyway and see if they can shrink you down to their size. Tell me I'm lying now. When I start lying, tell me I'm lying. Think about that shift in your life when you started really putting in work. You said enough is enough. I want to vibrate higher. I want to attract better. I want to be better. When you made that shift and you genuinely started moving different, you changed up your circle. You managed who had access to you as a woman. Think about it now. Ain't it funny how now that you're coming across men, one, you're underwhelmed. Two, they try to make it seem like you're the problem because you elevated whenever you were single up until this point. You elevated up to the level of the relationship that you wanted to have, and they had not. They had not. And so what happens in that situation, and this is what I need, especially for women who are currently dealing with a man and you wondering, maybe you wanting too much. Maybe you are being unrealistic. Maybe you are being too critical. Maybe you are holding him and comparing him to somebody else and you have this fantasy version. Let me tell you something. If that man sends you a good morning text in the middle of the afternoon, if he doing stuff like that, that's not thoughtful. That's not being spontaneous. That's like trying to show up to work whenever he feels like it. If he gives you a call back 7-8 hours later, but he was clearly active on social media in that time, that's a man who's not taking the job serious. You saying that's a problem doesn't mean that you're the one who's being negative and wanting too much and not satisfied with nothing. No. That doesn't mean that you expect them to be perfect. Consistency isn't perfection. It's basic professionalism, but applied to love. You wanting consistency is you wanting safety. Stop thinking that you're asking for too much for a man to be consistent. In the beginning, he responded one way. That's what got your attention. That's what had you moving away from all the other prospects that you were even dealing with. But then once he felt like he had you hooked, once he felt like you were open and vulnerable and he was getting what he wanted, now all of a sudden he want to switch up. But you saying, hey, I need consistency. I need that same energy that you was giving me in the beginning. That's not you lacking understanding or patience or consideration or compassion or anything. Yeah, Sarah, you said so much manipulation and gaslighting. That's exactly what it is. And then they'll try to manipulate you into thinking that you're being demanding because you want reliability, when reliability is the foundation of trust. When you ask for regular communication, not, sporadically a novel every other hour where he gonna get it all out his system and then go ghost again for a couple of more hours. Just a simple thinking of you, or how was your day, or I can't talk right now. I will call you at XYZ PM or AM. Like just that at a reasonable time, consistently. That's not you asking for too much. So if he's trying to make you feel needing for wanting to know that you're remembered, like the fact that you even exist is remembered. before he gets bored at work or bored doing whatever he's doing. That's basic communication. That's not too much pressure, because he definitely wanted relationship benefits without the relationship responsibilities. That's the problem. Would you say it's frustrating when words and actions don't match, especially when you live with the person? And unfortunately, that's whenever you got to draw the line. You got to get to a point where you don't play about you. If somebody think they're going to play in your face, and somebody think they can just cancel plans and, whenever it is, and if you got a problem with it, that's you being controlling. When in reality, that's you hoping he would treat your time like it has some value to him. Y'all always doubt yourself whenever you get ready to hold these men accountable. But it's like, if you don't protect you, who is going to protect you? And I mean that seriously. Like, answer that question for me. If he's showing that he has no interest in protecting you, you now have a mandate to protect you. You can't say self-love, self-love, self-love with somebody is being very unloving to you, and you don't shift into that, okay, let me make sure I'm good mode. And I know some people are going to get upset with the fact that I'm even saying this. So if you picking up what I'm putting down, if what I'm saying is making sense to you, please do me a favor. We need more people like you in on this conversation. Find a little arrow down here and hit the share button. And comment shared so I can shout you out. I always show love to those of y'all who hit the share button. We need more like-minded people, because this is going to go over some people's heads. And the other group, they're just going to get upset. But the truth is, you were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong man. Respecting somebody's schedule, respecting your schedule is not a restriction on him. It's basic respect. Following through with his communication. That's not him losing freedom. It's basic integrity. If he wanted the freedom to act like he was single, he should have remained that way. Last time I checked, there's none of y'all that's putting a gun in nobody's head and saying, be with me, be in a relationship, date me, ask for my number. Last time I checked. Why is it then that a guy who values all of that singleness, freedom, and singleness moves, and singleness, lack of accountability, why is it that he acts like you were the one that robbed him of all of that which he was enjoying in his singleness? If he didn't want to leave, he should have just stayed where he was at. Help me make it make sense, please. But then you get excited about dinner plans, you clear your schedule, you get ready, you get sexy, you get smelling good just to get that inevitable text message. Hey, something came up, man. Somebody hit me up. I got to go check on this rain check. But when you get frustrated about it, you the problem? Even though his last minute cancellations were never emergencies, they were evidence that he saw your time as disposable when something better came along, something better showed up that he really wanted to do. Because it's not like, as a woman, I've never seen it. You're asking a man to never, ever, ever have anything ever come up where he just cannot cancel plans, no matter what the emergency really may be, no matter what really may be going on. The only thing I've ever seen is that a woman is asking a man in a situation to stop treating her like a backup plan. And what I'm saying is, you're not wrong for that. Standards are under attack because it makes people uncomfortable with the work they have not put in to be prepared for somebody like you. They operated in a lack of faith that you really existed. Not you. They operated with an identity that they didn't really deserve this, that, and the other, but they would gladly accept it if it just fell in their lap. And they forgot the part where they would need to reciprocate that which they asked for, that which they hoped to get. Everybody wants the multiple six-figure salary, but nobody wants to show up to work. That's the funny thing. Is a lot of guys that can go down an itemized list about all the ways a woman needs to be perfect and sexy, and a therapist and a porn star and a cook and a nurse and a mama and a this and a that. And it's like, you forget that woman is going to want her reciprocal. She's going to want her equivalent. But what they think is that they can get in a relationship with a woman And instead of rising to the occasion, if they are falling short in some area, that they're going to shrink you down to size. They're going to attack you. They're going to huff and puff and get frustrated and be ready to quit or threaten to quit because you want something from them they have not prepared themselves to give. Instead of just admitting they're not up for the job. So a lot of y'all are right now with somebody, with a man right now who's telling you you're doing too much. You too negative. You too critical. It's always something with you. No. Your emotional intelligence is not the problem. Your willingness to communicate and your ability to articulate yourself is not the problem. Your awareness, you listening to your intuition and bringing it up when something don't feel right is not the problem. You saying that you will not accept X, Y, and Z from him when you clearly see that you deliver exactly what it is you're asking for is not the problem. Him confusing intimacy for imprisonment, that's the problem. That's the problem. Him thinking that the emotional connection that you're asking for him to not only show up for, but to truly invest in is some kind of chain around his wrist instead of a choice that he seemingly made. That's the problem. Again, if I'm speaking facts, please put facts down in the comments. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. I can take the truth now. Now, if what I'm saying is making sense to you, again, all I ask is that you share this right now because we need more people who are willing to be bold enough to speak the truth and stand for the truth. You ain't got to say it. I'll say it because they can't whoop me. They can't whoop me. I can fight. You ain't got to worry about that. Yeah, I know I'm pissing them off and that's fine. Because as a woman, it's like, how is it that we want you guys to have such high standards on yourself? We want you to be so untouchable by all of these different men. That's the whole, you got a high body count that communicates supposedly in theory that you don't have high enough standards, right? I thought. So why is it that we want you to have the highest of highest standards with everybody else, but then drop them whenever we come in? Drop them to what makes us comfortable. It's like, yeah, have high standards, but not higher than me. Dudes want the absolute best for their daughters, but then think they're supposed to deliver the absolute least to the relationship partners they're going to make the daughters with. If I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. You asking for consistency, he gives you confusion. And he tries to hide behind, he keeping things interesting. He's being spontaneous. No, stability isn't boring to a grown woman, but that uncertainty gets exhausting quick. You don't want to plan. You don't want to put in real effort. You don't want to take note as time goes on and develop your competence in how to love that woman. That is a problem. It's like you have to be quite immature to find unpredictability sexy, attractive, tolerable. And you see a lot of guys are used to women who are still, honestly, immature. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I believe all women have the potential to be queens. All women are made equal, but not all women move equally. There's a difference between a lot of y'all who are watching me right now and the work that you put in on you, the access that you've managed to you, the men that you said no to because you know they weren't no good and you don't want just anything to say you got something. There's a difference between y'all and everybody else. I ain't saying you got to like it. That's just what it is. I don't make the rules, but that's what it is. And with those other women, a man may get so acclimated and used to that type of woman and try to bring that same exact nonsense to you. But if you were just like other women, why did he do all of this, that, and the other to try to convince you you were different and that's why he was with you or that's why he was pursuing you? I'm going to tell you why. Because he wanted what comes from your belief that that he sees you as being as different as you are. He wanted the benefits that came from that belief, that he recognized those things that set you apart. Don't think that it's, now that you over here saying, I need this, that, and the other, and he complaining, it's a problem on your end. You were supposed to be different. You were supposed to be somewhat of a culture shock compared to what he was used to. All the complaints he got about his ex and this girl and that girl and last girl he dated, all of them complaints, and you ain't got none of them issues or none of that baggage. But now he's mad because you are different from them, and different in a way that you don't tolerate the same games that they tolerated. Hot and cold behavior is not mysterious. It is maddening. Texting all day for a week, then disappearing for several days at a time. Being affectionate one day, distant the next. There's nothing attractive about that to a grown person, man or woman. And again, what I'm saying is does not apply to alpha, because alpha males already know this. This is what alpha males want. Alpha males want predictability. Alpha males want stability. Alpha males like that. Why? Because that gives them less uncertainty, less energy they got to invest in just figuring things out on the fly as they go forward, and they can put that energy into continuing to be them best selves. The best selves, their fullest potential. Alpha males love stability. Alpha males love predictability. Alpha males love whenever they don't have to guess about what you own, who you are. And alpha males deliver everything that they are looking for. Before an alpha male even come to you and say, hey, this is what I need from you, he's already checked himself. And if he hasn't been showing up in that way, if he can't point to a certain amount of time as a body of work to say, this is what I'm basing this on, and this is why I believe I deserve this, he ain't even going to say it. Straight up. If he can't look at his own behavior and say, hey, this is what I'm giving you, therefore, this is what I need back, because alpha males are leaders. And they can't lead any woman if they can't lead themselves to the better version of themselves. Straight up. Yes, the masterclass is down in the comments, but comment the word secrets. I'll send it to you. You don't have to go guessing and trial and erroring to get to your alpha male. They do exist. If you believe that they don't, it's because you've been so deep in that pattern of dealing with guys who are underwhelming, who ask for too much, that you're overqualified for, that it feels like alpha males don't exist. But I promise you they do. Over 13,000 women who use my strategies to attract their alpha male can attest to that. You could be a part of that group. Just click the link that you see pinned down here in the comments, or just comment the word secrets and I'll send it to you. Free, by the way. I don't want nobody to miss out on it. But you asking for respect, you asking for regard and consideration, that's not you being controlling. That's not you always looking for an issue or something to complain about. That's him thinking that the word love means that you should just accept anything. That's what he's thinking. He's thinking that standards are restrictions when really they're requirements for sustainable connection. So your unrealistic expectations were really realistic standards that he wasn't prepared to meet. The bar wasn't too high. His effort was too low. Your requirements weren't excessive. His commitment was insufficient. His preparation was inadequate. Like, I'm not talking about, you want this man to make $20 million a year and he may be a first generation high school grad. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about you want this man to be 6'4", 6'5", and his parents are both 5'5". No, we're not talking about something out of his control or totally unreasonable. We're talking about regular communication, keeping promises, emotional presence, basic respect, thoughtful gestures, genuine investment and energy given to conflict resolution. These aren't luxury demands. These are relationship fundamentals. And you feeling like that. You feeling like this is basic. This is normal. I'm not asking for the sun, moon, and stars. Like, I'm just asking for consideration. Yeah, you're right. You're not asking for the sun, moon, and stars. You're asking for the basics, but from a man who is on bare minimum energy. Period. You don't want perfection. You want participation. Equal participation. Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But see what a beta male will do, a man who has not evolved yet into the highest version of himself, and he doesn't even prioritize that. He's going to call you needy when you ask for normal relationship investment. He's going to call you needy. When the truth is, he's emotionally unavailable. He's going to label you high maintenance when really you just have standards. Instead of admitting that he prefers low effort connections. That's what he's acclimated to. He's going to claim that you can never be satisfied. There's always something wrong when really you want growth, instead of recognizing that he's the one that's resisting change. It's something that is new to him. It's something that's unfamiliar to him. Because from all of his toxic ways in the quote unquote past, he's never actually changed. That's where change becomes scary. A person who has not actually healed and grown and evolved. You saying things need to change is like speaking another language. It's extremely intimidating. It's confusing. It's scary to them. Meanwhile, for the growth-oriented person, change is a normal part of your life. You ain't even the same person you were 6 weeks ago, much less 6 years ago, 16 years ago. It's not that you want the most, man. Just regular, consistent communication that proves that that man is thinking about you, even whenever you're not around. That's not asking for too much. Him following through on plans and promises because your time and your feelings matter is not you asking for too much. Emotional presence during conversations instead of, always being distracted, always. And I'm somebody who struggles with ADHD, everything else, but always. You can give full, undivided attention to that video game. Your homies talk to you, you ain't doing nothing else. You horny, you ain't doing nothing else. But the moment that woman starts sharing her true feelings and being vulnerable with you, now all of a sudden, come on, man. She wasn't difficult to love, bro. She was difficult to breadcrumb with the bare minimum you tried to disguise as love. That woman that you kept calling high maintenance and having unrealistic expectations, that woman that you tried to run that game on, really just refused to run on empty while you rationed your effort like gas during a shortage. Her standards weren't unrealistic. Your commitment was. Keep it real. But those are just my thoughts. I'm your internet big bro. And if you're listening to this right now, and in any way it helped you, I don't ask for money. I just ask that you pay this forward. These right here is free. Just find a little arrow down here, share it with somebody else. Don't be selfish. You're going to bless somebody on your timeline who needed to hear this message at this very time that you hit that little arrow down there. And of course, if you want more where that came from, there is more where that came from for free. Comment the word secrets. I'll send you a link to my most powerful masterclass to date called The Secrets to Attracting Alpha Males Only. This is the only place you're going to get proven strategies to attract much better. Better being equally yoked with you. So you can finally stop getting your time wasted. Or click the link that you see pinned down here in the comments. I'll let y'all later. Y'all be good.